Hey everyone, welcome in. Let's talk about the new episode of Real Housewives of Orange County, being episode 4 of the new season 17. So, the opening scene of this episode is Emily in the car with her daughter who is turning into a model. So, they arrive at this model agency, they're sort of interviewing the little girl. Part of this job involves the mother being extremely involved in the process, and Emily is willing and able to do that. The daughter looked very happy to be there, and I really like Emily. I think she's a good mom. Next up, Tamra goes to a boot barn, and Jennifer is with her as well because the group is going to a ranch to Montana for the weekend, so they are looking for some like Western clothes for the trip. Then Heather walks into the store with a bottle of champagne. Heather is too much. And then next up, Gina, Emily, and Shannon are also at the store for the same reason, looking for cowboy stuff. And then Emily asks Shannon about Tamra, who apologized to Shannon the other day. And Shannon, of course, she appreciates it, but she feels like Tamra just owns up to it so quickly so she doesn't get the pushback, and it feels like sweeping it under the rug. Like, it's like if you do something wrong and you know you're wrong and then you just tell the person, I'm sorry I did this, I love you. Like, it doesn't really work like that, so I get what she's saying. But then Shannon says to Emily, but you, Emily, you were a little messy talking and asking Jennifer about her affair. And then that's where Gina jumps in because she seems very fixated on this topic. She says, it's been bothering me because of what she went through. But you know what? Unfortunately, many people cheat, especially where they are. So she's going to have a hard time if she has a problem with everyone who has cheated before. And then, in the meantime, going back to the other girls at the other store, Heather asks Jen about her new boyfriend. You guys know the guy, his name is Ryan. So let's rewind just so like it can make sense. Jen was married and she cheated on her husband with this Ryan. She's been with him for 2 years now, but she tells the girls that she wouldn't want to marry him because he has had multiple relationships, even marriages, and he has never been faithful in any of them. So isn't that crazy? It's like a field full of red flags. And then the next scene of the episode is precisely Jen and her new man Ryan. She tells him that she's getting to know the girls, and of course they're going to have their perception on them as a couple, and she says that she really doesn't want their relationship to fail like her relationships have failed in the past. And he says, well, you know what, we've been together for 2 years, so this isn't like new. Then he grabs her and spanks her. It was a little bit too much. And listen, I don't wish the relationship to fail, but I think that the chances of a relationship that started off as an affair to be successful are very low. We then move on to Heather Dubrow. She's in her house with her 2 assistants, asking them what she should wear for the trip. Why does she have assistants? I don't know. And then Terry, her husband, walks in. She says, let me show you something, Terry. They go to the room of the twins, which is empty now because the kids are out. They're already, they left for college already, and they're feeling a little melancholy, And she says, wow, 20 years that I have put my life on hold in the sense of like personal goals. And she's wondering if she could still, dip her toe back in it, or if she's too old. She even cries a little bit. I like seeing that side of Heather. And then the next scene was really good. Tamra goes to lunch with Taylor. As we know, they met in the Ultimate Girls Trip. I love that season. And they're ordering some food, and then Taylor spills the tea. She feels a little bit sort of weird in a way because she was genuinely trying to be nice with Heather, maybe even bond with her, by offering her one of the roles from the movie that she's in. And Heather, in Heather fashion, was very dismissive, like, "Aw, sweetie, that's so sweet." And they kind of shade her, because as they're talking about it, they look up her IMDb. It was like funny shade, and they're like, oh, these movies don't look too impressive or whatever. So Taylor tells Tamra that she's going to mention it to Heather to understand why she was so dismissive of it. Is it because she felt like if Taylor got into the role, it was too little of a project for her? Was it because she feels like the movie was just like funky? Or was it because she just doesn't have time? So she wants an explanation. We then get to see some home scenes of the girls at their house with their families, just getting ready, packing up for the trip. They arrive at the airport. However, it turns out Emily isn't going because she tested positive. She's staying at home. Gina's a little bit upset because that's her partner in crime, so for her to be there without Emily is a little rough. So they get on the plane and they arrive at their destination, Montana. They go into a little cavern, fully decorated in Western stuff. It was really nice, but there only Gina and Jen are going to stay. The other girls, Shannon, Tamra, Heather, and Taylor, are going to a villa that is very nice and much bigger. But then for some reason, I think it was because of the heat, Taylor goes and she's going to stay with Gina and Jen. I will say Shannon was a little bit of a hot mess during this trip. She was complaining a lot. She was whining. She was late. I love Shannon, but she was being a little bit insufferable. And then all the girls get ready and they head out. They go to a mechanical bull. They go and ride on it. Most of them rode on it except Heather and Shannon. Then they go eat. I love some barbecue dinner. That's what they had. And as they're eating, Tamra says to Taylor and Jen, since you guys are the new ones in the group, why don't y'all tell us something that we don't know? Taylor says that she's bi. That surprised me. I did not know that. She said that she was with a woman for 5 years. That's a long time. And then Jen shares that, I was a flight attendant. And then Gina, sort of digging it in, says, oh, is that how you met your first husband? I do think the situation is interesting, don't get me wrong, but I don't think it's that interesting, if that makes sense. Anyway, like I said, Shannon was acting a little bit weird, and she says that she has to go make a phone call because the babysitter didn't show up, but everybody's like, well, the kids are 18. But in her confessional, she said that she actually made it up because what she went to go do was dress up in some 1990 call girl costume, and then they all go into a saloon where she has tequilas ready for them and she's ready to turn it up. So that was good. She does a little, toast with Tamra to say that they're going to start fresh, and they say that they love each other. But then meanwhile, Heather asks Taylor, how's the movie going? And Taylor says, good. I really wanted you to be in it. And Heather says, well, we already went over this. I didn't know that you were serious. And Taylor then asks her what she said earlier. She says, well, why didn't you want to do the movie? Did you think you were too good for the movie? And Heather says, no, but this isn't how you cast a role for a movie. You don't just give out roles. A producer usually reaches out. There's a contract, blah, blah, blah. And even though I don't like Heather, she's right on this one. Taylor, you can't just go give out roles if you're the actress of it. And Taylor says, okay, well, if they would have reached out to you, would you have considered it? And Heather says, yeah, I probably would have. So, and then Heather says, are we good now? And Taylor says, yeah, we're good. So they make up, they kiss. But then messy Tamra says, but wait, Taylor, didn't you tell her that the director wanted to see a casting tape of hers? So that triggers Heather. Because the director, according to Taylor, didn't want to just automatically hire her based off her career. He wanted an actual casting tape. So yeah, that makes Heather a little mad because it insinuates that Heather isn't that impressive. And then again, the pot stirrer Tamra says, well, we went to lunch and we pulled up your IMDb. And at this point, they were both ridiculous. Both Taylor and Heather were it was kind of funny, to be honest. Heather with her superior complex says, darling, you were so rude to question my record. And again, you guys, Tamra, she does this all the time. She throws her so-called friends under the bus. She says, well, Taylor, I do have to call you out. You said that you were not that impressed with Heather's IMDb. And that sets Heather through the roof. She goes into her annoying... That's the Heather I don't like. She says, this is horrible. And for you to do this is anti-women. That's a little extreme to say it's anti-women to do that. Does she know what show she's on? But she says, you haven't even been in a movie your entire life and you're acting like this. And for you to talk about my career? F you. Wow, you guys, she threw the big F-bomb at Taylor, and Taylor was just shocked by hearing that. And that was the end of the episode, so we'll see how that fight continues. And when we pick up next week, again, funny fights. At the end of the day, nobody cares about this role. So that's why I like it, because it's refreshing. and it's not like toxic drama like we see in other franchises. There's nobody threatening to headbutt or to choke, or you know what I mean, or like trying to end a marriage. Like, don't get me wrong, Orange County has been there before, but I like a little balance. So if we have some fake movie drama for some movie that probably doesn't even exist, I'm here for it. But yeah, that was this episode. Next week also, it looks like some of the girls are going to catch on to Tamra and see how dirty she is. So I can not wait for that to happen. But you guys, let me know, what were your thoughts about this episode? And what do you think about this funny fight? Whose side are you on? Taylor or Heather? Let me know all your comments, and what do you think of Tamra too? And anything that you want to tell me, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch y'all next time. Y'all have a great one. Bye.